Tony, show your face as well.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Howdy, team. Hope you're doing fantastic. Tony here in the hot seat today. Looking forward to hanging out and talking about how we can make 2023, what's left of it, a great year for you and your business. So, hey, team, if you can see and hear us, give me a big thumbs up in the camera. Double thumbs up would be amazing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hey, we're going to have a good time today, guys, and it's a workshop, so I'll do some work, and it'll be better if you do some work as well. So there's a chat button, chat box here, so if you can bring up the chat, I've got a quick question for you, just to make sure the chat's working so we can have a good conversation. I love playing would you rather questions with the kids. I've got 4 kids, keeps us busy. So here's my would you rather, and put your answer in the chat. Would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button on your life? Would you rather have a rewind button or a pause button? Just write rewind or pause in the chat, would be awesome. If you can make sure everyone's muted, Damo, so we don't get the background noise, would be amazing.
Yeah, I'll get in there. I'll just make sure you are muted as well.
There we go, I'm unmuted.
There you
awesome. So do you want to just go through, Damo, and if you could read out what's the preference here for people?
Yeah, sure. It looks pretty overwhelming, to be fair. We've got rewind coming in most of the time. A couple of pauses. Colin's got a pause. Pause from Ben as well, but mainly rewind. Oh, Greg likes to go with the neither, so likes to be a little bit different like that, mate. But yeah, bit of mixture, mainly rewind and a few pause.
Yeah. Nephi, if you could just make sure the controls for the Zoom are up on my screen would be cool, mate. That'd be amazing. Team, so
tech help,
yeah, I need tech help. It's all good. So team, love to know actually, just a quick show of hands, just to know that it's working. Let me know if you've actually listened to the podcast. That would be amazing. Just give us a hands up if you've listened to the podcast. That would be cool. And what I'd love to know is if you have, what's your favourite episode? Just dump it in the chat would be amazing.
Yeah, chuck it in the chat, guys.
AI in the trades.
AI in the trades, boom. That was like a couple episodes ago, wasn't it?
It was pretty recent, actually.
Nice. Marketing for hire, not clients.
Yeah, so
Hiring
good.
A players, big one. The mistakes you made.
Oh, that's an easy episode to shoot, Matt. We could do that forever. Tell you, man.
Probably hard to pick your top 3 though, wasn't it, Tony?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
cool.
it was.
Yeah, hiring A players, mistakes you made. Yeah, some good ones in there as well. I didn't see as many hands as I would have liked, so I'm just going to chuck in the chat the link to the podcast as well. Definitely worth a listen on your favourite platform when you're driving around. Turn your van or your ute into a university on wheels. There's some killer stuff in there.
Yeah, it's a great way to stay educated. I listen to podcasts and audiobooks a lot just as you're driving around, which is super good. So get into it. Yeah, lots of great information there. It's another way that we can serve you. Phil and I do that. Episode comes out every week, so lots of cool stuff in there. Team, there's a workbook today as well. So I think Damo's dropped it in the chat, but Damo, could you bung a link to the workbook in the chat again? That'd be amazing.
Yeah, sure can. I'll just drop it through. So yeah, download it, print it off if that's easy. If you've got an iPad, chuck it on there, or you can bring it up on your computer. It should do the trick.
Yeah, but if you can print it off, I think this will be great. What I find when you're learning and you're doing a session like this is if you write stuff down as you go, you get a lot more juice out of it. Things stick a lot better. So our job is to sort of bring the orange, as it were, and your guys' job is to squeeze as much juice out of it as possible. And I think writing stuff down is really going to help with that. So if you can grab a copy of it, that would be epic. So it's in the chat there. Okay. Hey, before we get much older here, I just want to introduce Damo. So obviously I'm Tony. Damo's in the hot seat with us today. Damo and I have worked together for a long time. He's
back when Tony actually had hair, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's relevant to you guys, but I thought I'd throw on that quick job anyway. But you're in safe hands.
Yeah, well, you've got a very sort of metrosexual hairdo at the moment, Damo. Like.
Yeah, we complement each other well, right? I've got the front going, you've got the back going.
Well, yeah. Anyway, thanks,
Moving
bro.
on.
Yeah. My kids give me plenty of shit about my hair. They stand over top of my head when I'm eating and say, hey, Dad, I can see where your hair used to be. I know some of you guys probably had a similar experience. But anyway, not to worry. Hey, Jacob, how you doing? G'day, Colin. G'day, Craig. G'day, Ron. Hey, Matt. G'day, Zach. Hey, Michael. Awesome team. Okay, so let's get into things. So what we're doing today is we're looking at the 2023 roadmap for success in your business. And just to get started, team, let's just do a little bit of background, and so I know a little bit more about you and where you're at. I'd love to know, how long have you actually been in business? If you can drop it in the chat, would be epic. How long have you been in business?
Boom. 6 years, 5 years, 10 months. Nice and fresh for Matt. 33 years. Nice, Greg. Good to have you on board,
nice,
mate. 3 years from Wayne, 4.5 years, 3 years, 16 years.
Wow.
Nice, 1.5. Got a bit of a range going actually. 9 years, another 18 months, about 5 years. Paul coming up with the 20 years and 10 as an owner. Good stuff. Matt, 16. I think Greg's taking the cake at the moment with 33, sorry. Ron's got 31 though. Who's our freshest in? I'd be keen to know who's fresh into business here. We've got 2 years from Josh. Sean says different businesses over the 20 years. Paul Casey, 15 years. So,
all right,
yeah,
so there's definitely a spread of experience, which is all good. So I appreciate you guys letting us know. And I'd also love to know, it'd be cool to know what the team situation is well. So how many people do you have on your team in your business at the moment? Whether you're a smaller business, maybe a one-man band, or you've got a bigger business, maybe 10, 15, 20, maybe 30 guys, depends.
Nice. Yeah, again, a cool range coming through. So we've got 5 plus yourself, 23, myself plus 2, 3 plus me, 7, solo from Jacob, Rob's got 8, myself plus 18, Ben with 40, Melissa with 6, Wayne just himself, his partner pulled out, unfortunately, could be a good thing. Nicola, just you and the hubs, and then yeah, good range, myself and 3 others, 4.5, 3, 9, 4, pretty much every number in the scheme really. So no,
nice.
Good size.
Okay. Alrighty, so let's talk about you and your business and the future as well, because it's been a funny old time, right? Like over the last 2 or 3 years, we've had all sorts of weird stuff go on. We've had COVID, we've had inflation. It's been really hard to find team members. There's been like crazy. They have material problems, difficulty getting supplies, interest rates, and a whole lot of crazy political shit's gone on. People have kind of lost their mind a little bit with life. So there's been a lot go on. And today I just want to acknowledge that, but also park that. And obviously the key to success is to focus on where you want to go. And everyone knows that dwelling on the past doesn't really help you move forward unless you learn a few lessons from it. But we really want to look to the future. And that's what the session is about today. So I want to talk about the future a little bit. And if you go to the workbook, I think Damo's dropped a link to it in the chat. Make sure you download it, print it if you haven't already. But on page, I think 3, you find a little diagram there. And I just want to talk about the future a little bit and how you can actually head towards the future. I think the first thing is, I call it the amber line. There's kind of like the survival. Well, even before that, actually, we're all here right now. So there's a little box here right now, and we're all going to arrive in the future, hopefully anyway. We all stay healthy. And I just want to look in 36 months' time, say 3 years' time, 36 months here. And there's one line here which I call the amber line, or the survival line, or the status quo line. That's where we just try and soldier on with what we're doing. We try and get through, we're trying to survive. We tend to just work hard on the stuff that's in front of us, doing what we've always done, and hoping that things will just work out. And typically we just focus on doing what we're doing in front of us and trying to do a good job and keeping our noses clean. So that's the amber line. Then there's another line, which is the red line, which looks more like this. And that's what I call the disaster line, where effectively in 3 years' time, the business is a bit of a disaster. That's where you're struggling with cash flow, you've got a bunch of team problems, perhaps hardest of all, you've worked really hard and you're just overwhelmed and burnt out, you're in meltdown mode. And I'd love to hear from you. If you could just put in the chat, what would a disaster be in 3 years' time for your business? Maybe just write down a couple of words. If it was all chaos and was a complete disaster, how would your business and life look in 3 years' time? Just write a couple of words in the chat. I'd love to get a couple of comments from you. Damo, if you could just let me know what people are putting down would be great. Look, team, if you are listening to, please make sure you're muted. Otherwise, we can hear everything that's going on in your office, and it's frankly a bit weird.
Yeah, just give a second for the comments to come through. Oh, yep, here we go. Yeah, going bankrupt or closing down the business.
Thanks, Abdul. Yeah, that's definitely something that can happen.
Yeah, definitely close. A disaster would be working 60 hours with nothing to show for it at the end of the day,
yep.
Which is probably a common reality for a few people. Back on the tools full time, so drag back into that. Yeah, just if you're muted. I'll keep talking anyway. Back on the tools full time, life turned upside down, no money. Yeah, especially for all the hard work you guys have done. Not having time for time to spend with family. Give me a second, I'll just...
Can you mute everyone, please, mate? That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I can't see their name though. Give me a second.
Team, just make sure you're muted, please.
I found them.
Yeah, mute that person.
Needle in a haystack sometimes.
Yep.
But anyway, back to it. Yeah, nothing to show for the hard work. Back on the tools, less time with family. So yeah, some big points in there for sure.
Yeah, so that's definitely all things that can happen, and I think of that as the 3 Bs. You end up broke, broken, and bewildered, in the sense that it's just really tough. And what typically happens in those situations where it's just not worked out at all, your family really suffers, and your lifestyle and your health it's really tough. So, that can happen. We need to acknowledge that that's a possibility. Back to the amber line. Now, you think you're in the same place in 3 years' time, but actually the same place in 3 years' time, as we all know, is not the same place. It's actually without doubt, it's down. And the reason is, if you just tend to bury your head in the sand and just try and do the same old, you've actually gone backwards, and there's a few reasons. One is opportunity cost. You've lost 3 years of your life where you really haven't made the progress that you wanted to, and you've given up all the potential of that 3 years. It's very hard to make back. The second thing is there's always more competition in your market, new people entering, new people qualifying. You've got inflation, prices go up, and your time and energy, you haven't got as much of it because you've spent it just treading water. So the survival line is really more like the disaster line than the survival line. But there is another line, and that is the green line, which looks like this, and we call that the success line. And success is where you're focused on improving and growing your business, and you get to a stage in three years' time, 36 months, where you're really excited about what you've achieved. And so for everyone listening, I'd love you to just take a moment again to pop into the chat. What would success look like in 3 years' time for you and your business? If everything went great and you're where you wanted to be, what would success look like? Just write it in the chat, and Damo can share it as we go.
Melissa, straight into it. Freedom. Yeah, for sure. Time and money from Wayne. Right, I like this. Working 30 hours a week maximum. We've got Ben. Yeah, sale or out of the day-to-day hands-on.
Love that.
Also, yeah, not working in the business anymore, so that's huge. Not working in it, maybe a bit more on it.
Oh,
Less
love
time on the
Craig's.
tools, more time with the family. Yeah, less stress, happier life. Yeah, the business is running without them. No cash flow issues. So that's from B. Sitting on a sailing boat, remote from the business, not needing to do anything other than guide.
I love that one.
Brilliant. Yeah, super cool. Not being tied to the business, being able to do what I want. So yeah, these are some cool ones, guys. Make sure you expand your thinking. I think there's some cool ones coming in.
Yeah.
Working 2 days a week from Greg. Stress-free, not solving problems all the day. So not dragged back into the problem solving, fighting fires. Not using the tools and actually directing the business and it not directing me. Bit of a theme coming through here for sure. Success looks like I'm full-time off the tools. My operations manager steps up and I'm no longer managing staff full-time and an admin to help with the day-to-day. So that's killer. We've also got, have more employees in a well-established business. Brian, yeah mate, so 5 mil, 16 techs, 7 office staff, culture's high, stewardship of God's business.
Love that.
Too good. I like the specifics around it as well.
It's so good.
It's really good to do that.
Yeah.
Matt, so business running with little input from me, spending time with family, the important stuff. And Josh says our own building, 10 staff, along with the revenue to come. So,
Magic.
Yeah, some awesome.
So good. Some stuff to really get excited about. So if we look through all of those answers, there's some really common themes here, which is, more money, more time, lifestyle is up, and I love that word freedom. Freedom is up because freedom is the ability to do things on your terms, on your time frame, with the people you want to do without actually having to be doing stuff and having to be tied to the business, which is epic. So here's the thing. If you look at these lines, right now, they're pretty close together. But if you shoot out to 36 months, the gaps between these lines, between the disaster line and the success line, and even between the status quo and the success, those gaps are massive. In fact, they get so large over time that the gap is almost irrecoverable. It's very hard to make that time back. And the reason for the change or the gap is really 3 things. 3 things. One is learning. One is action, just taking action on your learning, and showing leadership in your business. That's the key to success. So, huge gap, difficult to recover. The great news is that today, right here, right now, you are never closer to the green line than you're going to be right now. Never closer, which is really important. And the difference to get on that green line, which doesn't look very different today, is the learning and the action that you take and the leadership you show in your business. As I said, the good news is you're never closer to the green line than you are today. And if you are on the green line, the key is it's very easy to fall off the green line, so you need a good system and a process to stay on the green line. So today is not going to be much fun if you're a person who kind of tends to sit on the red or the amber line. This is about how the business owners on the green line do things differently. And if you want to get to the green line, then you need to listen, you need to take action on what we learn and what we share today and put it into practice and show us some real leadership in your business. So team, quick reality check. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is total freedom and it couldn't be better, and 1 is no freedom at all, how much freedom is your business giving you right now? Just on a scale of 1 to 10, bung it in the chat.
Yeah, nice. Sarab, so he's got 5, lots of 3s and 2s though, lots of 3s and 2s. I've got a 3 and a 4, but mainly 3s and 2s. We've got Sean McBreen, he's got a 7, which is cool. 0, appreciate the honesty, Matt. And we've got a couple of 6s, 5s, 4-ish. Nice. Appreciate the honesty as well, guys, and everyone chucking the comments into the chat makes it a bit more fun when when you guys are getting involved. So make sure you use the chat box. But yeah, 5s, 4s. Michael's got a 2. Brian with a 4. Yeah, you start to get an idea, Tony.
Yeah, and there was a really interesting answer there. I think it might have been Craig or Chris. I didn't quite catch the name, but put 0 some days and 7 other days.
Yeah.
And who just give me a show of hands, who has felt like that sometimes, like it's good sometimes but not others? Yes, heaps of people, right? A bunch of people. So here's the thing. If it is 0 some days and 7 other days, we all know that that's not really a 7, is it? That's more like a 2 or a 3, because freedom is about being able to do things on your terms when you want to, with who you want to. And if it's a 0 sometimes, then that freedom's not quite there. And that's what we want to get into today. All progress starts with the truth, and we have to be really honest with ourselves about, about where we're at. Okay. So, the question is, how do we actually create freedom in our business? Well, like most things, you want a plan. You need a pathway or a process to get you there. And the path that our members use is what we call the Profitable Tradie Roadmap. And so if you go into the work...
Make sure you guys jump onto... Sorry, Tony, just to jump in. This is on page 5 of your workbook if you want to get a more zoomed in look on it. So I'll drop the workbook in again, but check it out on page 5. Yep,
so page 5 in the workbook is where the Profitable Tradie Roadmap is. I'd love you to jump in and grab a copy of that, because this is the important piece for today. So I'm going to talk through how this works and then how we're going to use it and what we're going to focus on today, which I think you'll find massively helpful. So if we look at the roadmap, you can see that there are levels along the side and there are some categories along the top. And so I'm going to start with along the side there. We find there are businesses landing in different spots. And so you've got businesses that are startup, that's sort of 0 to 300K in annual revenue. We've got businesses that are at survival, which is 300 to 500K. We've got those that are at stability, which is 500 to a mil. Success is 1 million to 2 million. You're starting to grow a business, employ a bigger team, and get some, some leadership positions. Then you've got scale, which is 2 to 5 million, much more substantial business. And then significance, which is 5 million plus. And we work with businesses 5 million, 10 million, 15 million, up to $20 million in annual revenue. And there are businesses out there like that. So I'd love to know, team, just to get a feel for where we're at. Just pop down which one of those you'd see your business sitting at the moment, whether it's startup, survival, stability, success, scale, or significance. If you don't know, that's definitely something we'd want to get a handle on, because understanding your numbers is massive. So we've got some scale, stability. You cool to read those out, Damon?
Yep. Yeah, good mix. Startup, scale, success, startup, stability, survival, success, scale. Lots of S's in there.
Yeah. Yes.
Stability, survival / stability. Yeah, in the growth phase. So whatever that means. Yeah, stability, significance, but with heaps of issues. From Ben,
yeah,
we've got startup, survival, success. Yeah, good end of the range, Tony.
Yeah, if you put an S at the start of your answer, you're in the right place. It means you're paying attention. There was only S's as options, so well done. Okay, then across. Yeah, when across. Yeah, it's no good if you've got a lift though. But anyway, I probably just insulted anyone with a lift now. I'm good at insulting people. I apologise in advance. Tact and diplomacy is not always my strong suit. Anyway, we'll move on. Nephi's in the room laughing at me, so yeah. Let's talk about what's across.
You've got enough ribbons in the office, Tony, so you've got to give it back sometimes.
I do get a fair bit of shit in this office, I've got to say. I think it's because they love me. That's what I tell myself anyway. Anyway, so if we look across the page, we've got the different categories of what you need to have sorted in your business to have it run properly. And so we start with marketing on the left deliberately, because you need leads, you need inquiries. They kick off the process. So how do you get inquiries for your business? Then you've got financials. Now financials are there because there's a lot of problems around pricing stuff properly. So you've got to know what profitable work looks like. And there's no point doing work if it's not profitable. We're going to dig into that today. So we've got to price it well and understand the numbers. Then we've got sales, and that's actually taking the jobs you do and the work you price, the quotes or the bids, and getting people to say yes, getting them to agree for you to do the work. So that's important. Then we've got team. Most of you here have got teams, so this is right in the right ballpark. How do you get your team to do the work well, the work that you've actually won? Then you've got systems. That's about making sure the work's well organized, well systemized. You can do consistent work in a quality way and bring those projects and jobs in on budget. And on the right-hand side, we've got leadership. Well, that's about you. That's about your vision for your business. That's about the culture you create in your business. That's about your personal habits, how you manage your time, how you model good behavior to your team, how you inspire them, and provide leadership for them. Because I can tell you what, I know this for a fact, and this is massively important. Your leadership is everything for your business success. And as your business grows and gets up the success scale and significance phase, your job really is to start leading your team so that they can do the business. That's one of the little keys to success. Okay, so that's what we need. Now, here's the thing. You'll see alongside the right-hand side here, we've got some belts. And you'd be wondering why the hell there are belts in here. Well, I might jump on this to the workbook actually. This is probably easier. You'll see on the side there's some belts. And we award to our members belts for financial success, basically profitability. And so you'll see a white belt, that's a $50,000 annual net profit. A green belt is 200K net, right up to a black belt, which is $1 million net in profit, and a third dan black belt is $2 million net in profit. Now, I know for some of you, when I talk about those type of numbers, you'll be like, holy smokes, that's like insane. Is it even possible for a business to make $1 million profit, let alone $2 million net? And I get that. That's totally understandable. Most people we work with feel the same way. It's like, that's just pie in the sky. They'd love to make $1 million in revenue or $2 million in revenue, let alone profit. But here's the thing. Our mission for what we do here at Profitable Tradie is we want to help you create the business and life you never dreamed possible. And we have people who have been awarded black belts and second dan black belts. So this stuff is possible if you have the right system and process and you follow a path to get there. Okay, so how does it work? Well, here's the thing. Let's say you're at the success level. You're here. Now, and say you're doing $2 million in revenue and you want to scale up to the scale of the significance level. All the things above that line are the things you need to focus on to actually grow your business. Because if you're at a certain level, you don't just do the same stuff. You don't just do more of the same stuff to grow your business. That's not the way it works. For example, you hire an estimator to get up to that level, success. You don't just necessarily hire a bunch more estimators to grow. You might need to do that, but there's other stuff that you'll need to do. So that's important. So this shows you what's next. At the same time, and I think it might have been Ben mentioned that they were up at this level, there'll be potentially a bunch of stuff below the level you're at that you haven't done yet. And this is important. You might be at the success level, but you aren't doing any cash flow reporting. You don't have fixed pricing templates. You don't have an A to Z of operations. You haven't got an operations manager, and you don't have a prospect nurture system. The result of this is if you don't have the foundations in place, your business is going to get up and down results. The results are going to look like this. So who's experienced that? Yeah, good few months, then a rough few months. Okay? Just put that's me or yep in the chat if you have inconsistent results. It goes well, then it falls away and you get super frustrated. Yeah, lots of people. Well, lots of people. The reason for this is because some of the foundations are not in place. It's like trying to build a house without the right foundations. It's not going to stand up properly. So that's super important. That's why the roadmap is so powerful. We need to go back and fill in some of the gaps so that the growth from there on is stable. Okay? So that's massive. And at different levels, the requirements are different. For example, this may seem weird, if you aren't there, but if you're at the significance level, and if you're making $1 million X or more in revenue, in profit, you've got lots of time and lots of money. These people have other issues like, what do I do now? Now, I know if you're in the trenches right now, you're like, that's a great problem to have, but actually for them it's a real problem. It's true. I know it probably sounds sad, but it's definitely true. So at each level, it's quite different what you need to focus on. Okay. So that's the roadmap. Now what we're going to do today is, there's a lot here. No worries, Rob. We'll catch you next time, mate. There's a lot to do here, and one of the key things is not to get overwhelmed. It's very easy to get overwhelmed with what you need to do. And at Profitable Tradie, what we do is make sure you're just working on 2 or 3 things over the next 6 to 12 weeks so you're not overwhelmed. And today we're just going to focus on 3 things that I think are going to really help. So what we're going to look at firstly is under the financials area, we're going to look at this. Pricing for gross margin, or making sure your pricing is profitable, because that's super, super important. Then we're going to have a look at some system stuff. So we're going to focus on the A to Z of operations. So we'll have a look at A to Z of operations. And I want to make sure that you can get work when you need it if you're a bit short. So we're going to look at some quick response marketing tools. And in particular, we'll look at the email accelerator. Okay, team, so before we jump into that, I'd love to just check in. We'll just stop and pause for a moment. What's been most valuable for you so far? What's hit home? What have been the aha moments? What's been useful? If you could pop that in the chat, I'd really appreciate that.
Here we go. Thanks, Wayne. Taking action. Yeah, it's probably the most important thing of all, right? You actually got to put the stuff in place. Josh King, yeah, loves the roadmap. Definitely give a bit of direction. Yeah, B says the roadmap excites us, a clear guide to what to action and at what time. So yeah, there's a million things and ones to choose, right? So it's about having a few things and a map to follow. Yeah, roadmap. Yeah, internet is always the joy of that. Roadmap, yeah, dedicated half hour thinking about the business rather than the day-to-day noise. How big is that? Just stepping out of the day-to-day and actually focusing on the business.
And I want to jump in there, team, and say, like, the fact that you jump on a training like this actually puts you ahead of 90% of the people who won't take the time to actually invest in their learning to get a better result. So I really appreciate you doing that, and that says a lot about, you know, your attitude as well.
Yeah, killer. Yeah, having items to put into action, lots of roadmaps, missing steps, yeah, for sure. So they can definitely block the holes with that, with the roadmap. Brian, he's just laid out 90 days, 5 questions for the team and financial planning. Yeah, killer. Going through all my contacts and creating a CRM, and yeah, roadmap and not trying to do everything at once. That's easily done, chasing the shiny objects. But
oh yeah,
one thing at a time.
Yep.
We're all guilty of that.
I know.
Natasha, so she's in startup and seeing the categories of where your revenue definitely helps with looking at scaling plans as well.
Yeah,
so,
killer.
In that direction.
Okay. All right, team. So let's jump in and we'll look at the first thing, which is profitable pricing, and this is huge. Take notes as we go as well. In the workbook there, we're looking at page 7 onwards. Here's the thing with pricing. Nothing works if you don't get your pricing right. So you can do all the jobs in the world, but if your pricing isn't right at the start, if there's not enough profit in your job at the start, it doesn't matter how well you get through the work, you're going to be in trouble because there is just not enough fat in the job. Absolutely important to understand. It's got to be well priced with fat in it at the start. Now, if you don't price profitably, here's what does happen, and we see this with clients all the time. You end up short of cash, you end up working really, really hard because there's just not enough profit at the end of the day to help you employ more people, to employ good people, to get good systems in your business, and you tend to just scrape by month, year by year with a job rather than a business. And a business requires profit to grow. if you do price profitably, the reverse is true. You're going to have plenty of cash to pay your bills. You're going to be able to hire people. You're going to be able to buy your time back with employees, with the right systems and processes so that you can spend your time on other stuff. And you set up a platform for growth. And here's something that people forget, and this is actually really important. Charging a great margin and pricing profitably actually helps you provide better customer service because you can put more effort into your service. You can grow systems, have a better team. You can be Johnny on the spot when you need to be. And people don't realize that, but it makes a huge difference. Put it another way, if everything gets messed up if your pricing isn't right, everything is difficult. So there's 3 key principles here to get right. The first is price for profit. So it's really easy to price just to win jobs. So think about it. How often have you priced a job at a level that you think you could get it across the line, or at a level that you think the client's willing to pay, or a level just about or below what your competitors are going to charge? Just put "that's me" in the chat if you have. Often. Yeah, thanks Wayne, appreciate that. That's me. Yeah, Jacob. All 3. Okay. Here's the key thing. What you think the client will pay, what you think you can get the job for, or what the competitors are charging may or may not have any relation to what is profitable for you. What they're charging, what you think you can get, may have no relationship to what is profitable for you. And so we have to price for what makes us profit. If you don't factor in strong profit, it's difficult, to keep your bank account full. So put another way, what's the point of doing work if it isn't profitable? All it does is make you more frantic and reduces the freedom you have because you end up winning all this work at low margins, trying to get it all in there, and it's tough. Okay. And does affect your business. Low, you get too busy, low cash flow, even despite having good revenue sometimes. A lot of stress, a lot of overwhelm because you can't hire people, it's too tight, it's just all hard work. So you've got to price for profit. That's the first one. The second one is set targets. Massively, massively important. Talk about some people we've helped, Lance and Trish. Really good people. Had a plumbing business, had about 7 employees. Yeah, 7 employees. Struggling with margins and profitability. And one of the key things we did is actually set some targets for them to achieve when they were pricing. Some gross margin targets. We'll talk about this in a minute. They were a little bit uncomfortable. They're like, well, we can't put them up too high, we won't win work. So they started at 30%. Now, previous to that, they were hitting around 21, 22, 23%. They'd priced their work at 30%. They started achieving a 30% margin. I was like, okay, why don't we change the target? Let's try 35%. They did that. They started achieving a 35% margin. I was like, well, why don't we really push the boat out? Let's try 40%. They started hitting 40% margin. So a target is critical. And you can use benchmarks. We know in the businesses that we help, there are some certain benchmarks that you'd want to hit. So for example, with service work and jobbing work, you want to be having a high margin because it's smaller jobs, more mucking around. So 55, 60% plus in gross margin. If it's construction work, maybe it's around the 35%. If it's larger commercial work, maybe it's more around the 30%. If you go too much lower than that, it can be really hard to actually make it cash flow. But the thing is, when you do your pricing, you want to target and you check the job before you send it out to make sure that it hits the target that you're wanting to hit. And if it's not, you need to adjust it. Again, you may be thinking, oh, well, what if I win the job? Well, if it's not priced properly, you should be worrying about winning the job because it's going to actually drive your business down. So price for targets. The last one is trim the sails. Now, I've got a bit of a fascination with yachting, and there's a yachting competition called the America's Cup. Who's heard of the America's Cup? Just give me a hands up if you've heard of this. Just give me a wave, would be awesome. So there's a few people heard of it. Okay. Well, in the America's Cup, they try and optimize everything. So they optimize the sail design, the hull design, they have weather people out on the course, long range weather people, they study what the patterns of weather are going to be like at the time they're doing the racing. They have a tactician, they all work out so they're really physically strong, they can drive the boats. Well, it's the same with our business. We need to make profit every day and pull all the levers that we can to be successful. So that is pricing for a margin, having a target, making sure we've got good processes around how we get the jobs done, and paying attention to all the little details of our pricing. We need to do that all the time. It's not something you can just set and forget. The money's made every day on every project. And if we jump into the workbook on page 14, there is a little worksheet there called the Profit Maximizer. I'm not going to go through all of this today, team. I just want you to put a little tick beside that. You can go back and look at this, and this is going to give you a bunch of ways you can trim the sales in your business, a bunch of different little angles that you can use just to squeeze some more juice out of your margins. Some of them are around pricing, some of them are around productivity, some of them are around how you actually utilize the assets in your business. Things like, make sure your experienced tradespeople are working on the highest, profitable work. They're not running around collecting tools and going to the merchant when your apprentices or your low skill people could do that. Just a bunch of stuff you can do there. So make sure you jump in and look at that. But we do want to trim the sales. Really important. Okay, so team, based on those three areas, which of these do you think you need to focus on most right now? Just pop it in the chat, whether it is pricing for profit, setting some targets, or you really need to just trim the sales and look at all the areas where you can squeeze some more margins. All three, unfortunately. Okay, if you just grab those demo for us, would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, price for profit, all three, unfortunately. Lots of opportunity, which is cool. Set targets, super powerful. It happens all the time. You set the target, and it's funny how you hit them.
Crazy.
Set targets, trim the sales from Rob, setting KPIs from Sarah. Trim the sales, all three, lots of opportunity for Wayne. We've got, trim sales, targets, profit margin for the job needs to be higher. That's a good realization there. Set targets for us is the first stop. Need to adjust the pricing for profit, set some targets. Workbook link, I'll drop it in after I've got to these comments. Trim sales, to be fair, Tony, there's probably a bit of mix of everything, really, all three.
Okay, cool. Alrighty, so here's a little thing that's super important, pricing for margin. Now here's what I've learned coaching businesses for the last 13 years. Small hinges swing big doors, and learning to price for a gross profit margin is a small hinge that can literally change your business and your life. So here's how it works. Give you an example. Let's say you have a project and it costs you $10,000 to do. That's your labour, your materials, and any subcontractors. Just the cost of doing the job. Cost you $10,000. Let's say the quote or the bid or the price that you give the client is $13,000. No problem. What's our profit? Write it in the chat, team. What's the profit on that job? $3K. Perfect. Okay. So that's our gross profit. So gross profit is our job profit. It's the most important profit there is. How profitable are we at doing the jobs? And our gross profit tells us how good is our pricing, number one. How productive are we, number two. How quickly are we getting through the work? If you've priced it for a certain number of hours, can we do it in those hours? Okay. Make sense, everyone? Just give me a double thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. Right, here's where it gets interesting. And if you jump into the workbook on page number 10 and talk through two calculations that are very important for you to understand. Now, actually, before we do that, what's your profit margin on that job? Just write in the chat, what's your profit margin? I'm sure there'll be someone who knows that this is a trick question, but let's see what you come up with. Not enough, Wayne. Yeah, amen, brother. I love you. I love your vibe. Don't be shy.
Brave enough.
Oh. Yeah, there's definitely a bunch of, oh, Craig, there's a winner. All right. Kelvin, you should know this as well. Okay, cool. So here's the thing. Two types of profit. One is your markup. So markup is gross profit divided by cost times 100. So in this case, it's $3,000 over $10,000 times 100, equals 30%. So honestly, most people will think that that's the profit, 30%. That's your markup. But your gross profit, or your actual profit from this job, is not your markup. It's different. And your gross profit is gross profit over revenue or sales, depending on what part of the world you're in. Gross profit margin. So in this case, it is 3,000 over 13,000 times 100, which is how we get 23%. That's your actual profit margin. And this is why people do their pricing. They throw a markup on their labour, and they have a charge rate for their labour, and throw a markup on their materials and on any subcontractors, and they think that's their profit. But this is where they're wrong. That's not their profit. That is markup. Oop. That is markup. What we want is margin, and it's lower. Okay. So give me a fist bump if that makes sense, everyone. This is really important. So when you're pricing your work, you want to hit a target gross profit margin, not a markup, which means your pricing will be higher. There's more margin in it. And here's how it works. If you go to page 12, you'll see there's a relationship between markup and margin. It's just a mathematical relationship. A 30% markup will give you a 23% margin. 33% markup will give you a 25% margin. If you want a 30% gross margin, you need a 43% markup. If you want a 50% gross margin, you need 100% markup. It's just a mathematical calculation. So the key to success is to price for a gross profit margin, not a markup. You can still use markup when you're pricing, but make sure you calculate what the margin is, and then you have a target for that margin. For example, it might be 60% for service work, it might be 35 to 40% for construction work, and it might be 30% for commercial work. And you don't send quotes or bids out if they don't hit that. Love to know, team. Give me the thumbs up if this is making sense. Awesome, thank you. Okay, this is the impact that understanding the numbers and pricing profitably has on your business. And I want to talk about Sam and Lee from from Climate and Plumbing. I think you can't actually see Sam, who's on the left. She's actually the boss, and Lee is the sidekick. But they have a business called Climate and Plumbing. They specialise in plumbing and gas fitting and HVAC. They had a team of around 30, so they had a reasonable sized business, and from the outside looking in, their business was actually pretty successful. Now, they'd even won a Master Plumber Award a couple of years ago, which is interesting. So from the outside, it looked good. Unfortunately, and this is weird, a lot of those awards don't actually take account of profitability, which I don't know is a weird thing, but that's another story. Anyway, they were working really hard for some good revenue, but very low profit. So their revenue was between 4 and 5 million over the last 3 years, and their net profit margin was around 2%, which is about 90 odd K on 4 to 5 million revenue, which is not a lot. It's pretty tight. So this was leading to a lot of cash flow issues. They were finding it really hard to pay their suppliers and wages and staying on top of taxes. It was extremely stressful, and it left Sam with very little money to invest back into the team. Now, she mentioned that they weren't even able to get new uniforms for their team. That's how tight it was, and that left her feeling pretty flat. And begrudging was her words, because they were putting in all this effort and not really getting the rewards. So we did a game plan session with them, and we quickly identified that the pricing was off the pace, and they weren't using gross margins when pricing. So we back costed their work, and that's where you go and review the jobs you've done and figured out how they were performing. And we figured out what was profitable and what wasn't. Then we set some clear gross profit targets for each type of work, and a non-negotiable level below which they weren't able to go. Results have been super solid. So their net margin is now 14% from 2%, and that's a net profit of over 700K. Same revenue. Massive difference. So this is a small hinge that swings a big door. More importantly for Sam and Lee, it's led to a different outlook in their business. They're actually excited and proud of what they're doing and what they're creating, and the stress and the overwhelm has lifted. So there's a lot more freedom now for them because they've got that fat in the system. And Ben was similar. So Ben, a really solid operator, was running a plumbing business, had 8 people in his team. He was doing okay financially, but he knew he could do better. And the real problem for Ben was that he was working 80 hours a week, and it was wearing him thin, literally grinding him into the dirt. So we did a game plan for him, mapped out a plan. He needed to hire people, and he knew he needed to, but he was concerned about doing that because of the impact it would have on his profits. He felt he couldn't afford it. So during the game plan, we focused on planning how Ben could get across his numbers and actually improve his profitability. So in the first 3 months, he took this learning. He's really, a good learner, take action. So he took his revenue from between 175 and 185 to over 230K. But more importantly, he took his gross margin from 30 to 40%. So that's an extra sort of 35K a month in gross profit. And he was really happy about the numbers. That's really helpful, and the gross margin was important there. But the real confidence and the real win for Ben was he felt he could now go and hire. So he hired an ops manager. He's down to 40 hours a week. Life is completely different. Once he hired the operations manager, then the business really started to grow and was achieving sales of over 300K a month in revenue at 40% margins. Now, cool thing here is that Ben's actually subsequently gone on to sell this business because he wanted to do some different things with his life. And I know that for a couple of you here, the future was like, how can I actually sell the business and package it up? Well, this is how you do it. You get these numbers working well, which generates the profit, which allows you to build the business. Super exciting. So here's what I'd love you to do. This is a fun exercise. If you grab just a blank page in the workbook, I want you to write down what your revenue is, your yearly annual revenue. Let's say it's $1 million. Doesn't matter what yours is. I'm just going to use this as an example. Okay. Now here's what I've found. This is amazing. It amazes me still, but I see it all the time. When you get across your numbers, when you price profitably, you back cost your work, you set some targets, and you continually just tweak the profitability, a 5% increase in your margin is easy as. Is that iPad up? Yep. Okay, I just can't see it here. Cool. Is a 5% increase in your margin is easily achievable. Now, 5% increase in your margin is money to the bottom line. There's no more cost. So what I'd love you to do is multiply your revenue by 5%. Or as Math Whiz Damo, just multiply it by 1.05. Yeah. So if it was $1 million, that's an extra $50,000 in profit on top of what you're making right now. And when you've got a figure, I want you to pop it in the chat.
That's profit as well, not revenue.
That's profit. So pop it in the chat. Now, for some people, for some
strong, nice.
Yeah, for some people who have larger businesses, this is an even bigger hinge. You make a lot more money. But for any business, it's a lot of money.
You talk about trimming those sales, you know, that 5%, 310K, 89,250, 46. So we're not talking small numbers here. Matt, 125K, Abdul, 525K, Zach, we've got 15,000, Matt, 30K, Brian, 75. So yeah, some good numbers in there. 15, 20, 157, 50. Lots of money on the table.
Nice. So this is money that's waiting for you to go and pick it up. It's your money. It's just about stopping the leaks in the bucket, and that money will come to you. Okay, appreciate that, team. Appreciate your shares. That's super juicy. Okay. Alrighty. Let's just pause for a minute. Maybe take a big deep breath. Breathe out. Another one. There's a lot going on, so we'll just let it settle for a minute.
Lucky Phil's not here, eh, Tony?
Yeah. Those of you on the podcast, Phil hates breathing. Doesn't believe in it. He's very uptight, difficult to work with.
Everyone's got their chinks in their armour though, eh, Tony?
They do. I'm still trying to find yours, mate, but you know.
Stop it.
Okay, so here's what we did, team. We were looking at the roadmap. So if we go back to the roadmap, we've looked at pricing for gross margin there. Next, we're going to zoom out a little bit and look at some systems and how to build an A to Z of operations. So, operations and systems, one of my favorite areas because it's, and one of Damo's favorites as well. You love a little system, don't you, Damo?
Just giving the people what they want.
Yeah, just a little process here and there.
Show of hands, I'd love to get some support. Who wants some more systems? Yeah, there we go. Just giving the people what they want, Tony.
Right, mate. Yeah, you're a good man. Anyway, systems and processes are why McDonald's can be run by 16-year-olds who can't even tidy their rooms. It's true. I've got 4 kids. I've got a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old. 17-year-old is actually pretty tidy, but the 15-year-old is a train wreck. Lovely, smart guy. He's nearly as tall as me, but yeah, his room's a disaster. And that's like most of the kids who work at McDonald's, but you can still get a hamburger, a cheeseburger that's the same everywhere. Amazing. You might want to write this down. System stands for saving you stress, time, effort, and money. System stands for saving you stress, time, effort, and money. And there's one thing I've learned by running a business, and it's this. Business results and businesses don't rise to the level of your goals and your dreams. They fall to the level of the systems and the processes you have in place to make sure things are done the way you want them to be done. I'll say that again. Your business doesn't rise to the level of your goals and dreams, but it falls to the level of the systems you have and the processes you have in place to make sure that it's done the way you want to have it done. So systems are about getting this business out of your head, getting it on paper so other people can do the work. If it's stuck in your head, it's all you, baby. If it's out of your head, then other people have got a chance of helping you with it. It's that simple. And so mapping out your A to Z of operations, or we also call it the systems roadmap, that's the blueprint for how you want your business to run. It's getting it out of your head, getting it all sketched up so you can see it as a picture and everyone can understand it. So here's what happens if you don't have a good systems roadmap or an A to Z of operations. There's chaos. It's like these tangled wires. There's lots of mistakes, there's quality issues, there's poor efficiency, there's rework. It's very frustrating. The business is all on your shoulders, so everything's stuck in your head. Nothing's on paper, there's no processes. Everything has to go through your head because everything is stuck in your head. And you are like the central point of everything. And you do end up burnt out. You can't take holidays. You're always on your phone. Like your phone, I don't know who finds this, their ear gets red sometimes from the phone calls. A lot of which you don't really think you should need to take, but you do because you're like the key person. Hundreds of phone calls every day. Now, if you do get this right, you'll have consistent quality work because your systems and processes help you do things the same way each time. They lead to similar results. You know, for example, quality assurance checklist for a job, a finished checklist for plumbing, or whatever it is. Just helps make sure it's done the same way. You'll have more time, so you know your operations are better organised. You've got stuff out of your head. People can follow what they need to do. Less mistakes to fix. You can get away because it's not all stuck in your head, and other people can do the work. And this is huge. You can create a real business. See, here's the thing. Business with documented systems is a real asset. And it's worth more to sell. Funny thing is it's worth more to keep as well because it's easy to run. But when you do sell a business and they value it, they multiply your profit to figure out what it's worth. If there's no systems and it's all stuck in your head, the multiple is low. It means your business is worth less. If it's all written down and you've got an intranet with all your systems in place, the multiple is much higher. Your business is worth more because someone else can do it, doesn't have the key person risk. So here's the key thing. Systems run your business, your people run your systems, and you lead your team. That's the way it works. Okay, so 3 key principles here to get right. First one, you've got to write it down. If it ain't written down, it ain't a system. So the whole point of systems is to take it out of your head and just get it on paper so that others can understand the system and they can follow it for themselves. Real simple. Second, work hard once. This is challenging, I know, but massively important. Now, without doubt, the biggest issue for you to get better systems and processes is time. It takes time and effort. I'd love to know, team, just show of hands, give me a hands up if you'd love to get some systems in place. You've thought about getting some systems in place, but it's just hard to get it done because you don't have time. I think there's a bunch of hands there, Damo.
Sure is.
Yeah.
You in the chat as well.
Yeah. And so I understand. I own a business too. I've owned a number of businesses. This is tough. It does take time and effort, and it's tough when you've got jobs on the go, you've got clients wanting stuff, you're sorting out cash flow issues and getting people to pay and getting materials to jobs and dealing with your apprentice who's just broken up with his boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever friend he has. It's all good these days. You know, all of those things, right? First love is pretty tough for the apprentice, I know. It's like the world's ended. But we were all there once, right? It's all the reactive stuff that keeps coming forever. But here's the thing. If you work hard once and you do invest the time in getting the system sorted out, it's going to save you time forever. So you've got 2 choices. You can put a bit of effort up front, makes the rest of your life better, or you can just stay busy with the urgent stuff and you're going to have to fix the mistakes forever. But we're going to give you a head start here. That's the whole point of today, to make it a bit easier, because you can grab the A to Z of operations as a starting point. That's going to save a hell of a lot of time. The next thing, and this is really important, and this probably will be quite counterintuitive, but I don't care because I roll to the beat of my own drum and I know this to be true. Don't try and systemize everything prior to hiring your next person. Here's what most people do. You've probably done it. Oh, I need to hire someone. I'll do that when I've got all the systems so I can show them how to do the job. That is a mistake. Here's why. You're already too busy. You're already struggling to stay on top of things. If you wait till you've got time to systemize it all, how long is it going to take to hire this person? Well, a long time. I'm not sure if that was a rhetorical question or not, Damo.
Yeah, there was an awkward silence. I was talking at the screen, but yeah.
That was awkward.
I was thinking too long. Way too long.
Yeah, I definitely need to hear that, Natasha. Yeah, forever. Sorry, I couldn't decide whether it was rhetorical or not. Let's say.
The pause for effect was fantastic.
Okay. Appreciate that, bro. Nothing like a good, healthy pause when you're trying to figure out what the fuck you're going to say next. Anyway, yeah, if you wait till it's perfect, it never gets done. So you're much better to hire the person and get them to help you build the system. So get the people you're hiring to build the system as they learn the job. Way better. We have a team of, I think, 27 or 28 here at Profitable Tradie. It's a very well systemized business. Amazing team. I have built none of the systems. For one, I suck at it, and 2, I just can't be asked, And 3, it's just much better for other people to do it. It happens much quicker. So get help building the systems. Team first, system second. Alrighty, let's get into the A to Z of operations. Well, Brett's just said I've been struggling with this decision. Yeah, I think it's easier to get the person and help them build the system. Give them an example. Actually, this is something that's made a huge difference to me and the business owners we help. As a business owner, you don't want to author anything. You only edit stuff. So you get someone else to have the first crack at it and you can fix it up rather than starting from scratch. It saves you so much time. Anyway, that's just a little nugget there. So the A to Z of operations. Oops, we'll go back one. The A to Z of operations is basically the roadmap. It's on page 19 of the book. If you want to jump to page 19, it's the roadmap for your business, the systems for your business to make it run well. Let's jump into the workbook. That's probably the best place to go. Okay, here it is. I'm not going to go through every detail of this today because that's like a bunch of trainings all at once. But I just want to show you how it works and give you a place to start. This is your whole business mapped out on a piece of paper so you can see how it works and so everyone else can see how it works. And you'll see there that it starts with marketing, getting leads. That generates an inquiry. Is it a small job or a large job? If it's a large job, pricing process, quote acceptance, contract signing, preparing job logistics, scheduling work. Maybe you need some more technicians. Preparing the job logistics, managing the accounts payable, completing the stages, completing the job, invoicing the client, accounts receivable, is it paid? Yes, no, follow-up process, client care program. So it goes through the whole process of how the business works. Now, your business may be slightly different to this, that's fine. It'll be basically the same. It's basically the same. Maybe slightly different, but you can use this as a starting point. So you can see how the big picture's mapped out and then we can zoom into the details. So let's say we're talking about the lead process. Then there's a bunch of stuff here, which is the real juicy stuff down here. This is the actual how to do stuff. So this is for example, the inquiry process, the inquiry script. This is how you want people to answer the phone and what information you want them to get when they take a phone call. So it's done the same way every time. So quality is good. And you know that most of the problems with jobs come because it wasn't set up right at the start, you didn't get all the information or whatever. So you can stop all those problems by having the system right. Let's take another example. Pricing process. We've got the pricing templates, so we'll have our templates for pricing. That's how we make this happen on a repeatable way. Maybe it's a software like Ground Plan, which is great for takeoff, counting quantities so you can build your quotes and bids quickly. What's another example? Oh, here's a good one. Doing the work. What's our quality assurance process? What's our checklist for quality assurance? This is what goes out in the field or on site that the people are responsible check off to make sure everything's done properly. Okay. That is the A to Z of operations, and you need that in your business so you can get it out of your head, get it on paper, and start the system and process. Process. 3 steps or 4 steps to the process, which are really simple. The first one is you've got to flow chart the process, so draw the flow charts, the steps in the process. It doesn't have to be perfect. The next step is to document the steps. This is the really juicy part. This is the how to do things. So that's templates, scripts, examples, videos, screen recordings. Loom is a great program where you can video anything on a computer, talk at the same time, and create a bunch of training videos. So if we jump into the workbook, there's some examples just to help you get started. On page 21, here's an example of a quality assurance checklist. This is a plumbing checklist for a pre-line checklist. And it has all the things that need to be done that you want your site supervisor or foreperson or tradesperson in charge to tick off to make sure that things are covered. It's all there. Yours might look slightly different. We have examples for electrical and other types of businesses as well, but this is a great example. So that's an example of a checklist. Here's a script. So we talked earlier about the inquiry process. Here's a script for your team who answer the phone. It might be your customer service reps, your CSRs, or your receptionist or office manager, whoever does it, for how to answer the phone. Smile before picking up the receiver. 3 rings. Good morning, good afternoon, welcome to XYZ Plumbing. You're speaking with Tony. That's how you want people to answer the phone. Just so I can help you best, can I ask you a couple of quick questions? And there's the questions. Have we helped you before? Yes, no. Do you own the property? It's a good question to ask. How did you hear about us? We want to make sure our marketing, we can capture what's working with that. Oh, we heard about you, you know, maybe through the supplier, so that will get a tick there. Book the job in. Hey, there's some other stuff that you might want them to ask. So for example, we suggest that you know, we do an upselling process. So we'll say, as part of the service, the team will conduct a free 27-point plumbing or electrical safety inspection whilst on site. So Tony, our service fee is $150, including tax. That covers getting us to site the first 30 minutes of labour. Doesn't include any materials, and we take payment on completion. Are you okay with that? Getting payment sorted out up front. It's in the script. It's in the process. We can replicate it and get consistent performance. So that's an example of a script. Another process which is super juicy is the hiring process. Most people wing it. They make it up. They Google some interview questions the morning of the interview. Here's the process to follow that our members follow to get the results they want from hiring. There's 11 steps. The first step is build a job description. Then you market the position. Then you ask the applicants to apply online. You shortlist the applicants. You do a telephone interview, and with that, have you got a script to follow? There is a script behind this. Then you do a face-to-face interview, and again, have you got a script to follow so you know what you're looking for? We do our pre-employment checks to make sure we don't miss anything. You can do some psychometric testing, which we use DISC, which works really well. Reference checking. Have you got a script so you ask the right questions of the person you're getting the reference from to see whether this person is a decent potential employee or a decent human being? You might do an on-job interview if you can. You know, we recommend you do that to see how they roll with your team and are they actually any good with their hands. And then making the job offer. Have the contract ready. This happens all the time. You see a good person and you wait 5 days to get the contract ready and they're gone. So the process here makes sure that you've got everything covered off. Once you've done that, you need to measure the results. That's number 3. So let's have some KPIs around the process to make sure they're working well. So examples might be no more than 2 callbacks per month. That's checking that the QA process is working well. Maybe all invoices are sent within 2 days of job completion. Checking that the invoicing process is good. Accounts receivable are at less than 2% overdue. Is the follow-up process right? Maybe it's all quotes and bids are sent at or above your gross margin targets to make sure the pricing has been done as it should be. And then step number 4, jump into the slides, is update and improve. So check that people are hitting their KPIs, and then this system will require you to continually improve your processes as necessary. You know, you'll need to check that the KPIs are good, and things might change, and you just update the processes. That system's roadmap will be, it'll be a living document, and that's fine. And so how this actually impacts a business is amazing. I just want to share a little bit about Curtis Hancock. So Curtis is probably the nicest guy you'd ever meet. He's in Southwest Florida, owns a business called Hancock Plumbing. And we first caught up with Curtis. He'd been in business for about 22 years. And life and business had really lost its shine for him. He was working hard, spinning his wheels. To be honest, he hated checking his bank account because he was scared about what he'd see. And he'd stay up late at night and actually postpone going to bed because he knew that he had to get up the next morning and just do it all again. So he'd lost his drive and his will, to actually get in the business. And a lot of that was because the whole business was revolving around him. It was all in his head. And he was actually really frustrated about the fact that he could see other people making it work, but he couldn't seem to make it work. And he knew that he was smart, but it just wasn't happening. So it was really, really tough. So we put a game plan together for him. And the first piece was putting a solid process in place to price his work and to review the jobs that were completed. Now, that's been massive. His margins have shifted up by 17%. He's stopped the regular cash flow crunches that he was having because the office team now have a good system for checking and sending the invoices regularly. Instead of every 3 or 4 weeks, when he got around to it, they can actually do it because there's a good system. Here's one of the things that was massive for Curtis, and I think this is awesome, and we should definitely celebrate this, is the work culture has really grown and developed. The team are motivated and happy, and he has regular team meets, he has social events, performance appraisals, and he does a 20-minute coaching session with his team, with each one of his team, which is something we teach our members just to help them stay on track. And these are all systems that he's put in place to help build the culture. Plus, they've put in a 9-day fortnight, so they work an extra hour a day, and they can take 1 day off a fortnight. And one of his team said this to Curtis. He said, "I can't wait to have Friday off so I can cook my kids' breakfast, take them to school, and just be a dad." And that kind of got me in the feels. I think that's amazing if you can provide that sort of environment for your team and yourself. It makes a huge difference. So the end result is not only is Curtis got more money, but he's taking control of his time back, which is massive. The big shift for Curtis is that he now sees his business as a tool that he can actually build the life and the lifestyle that he wants, and he knows that it's possible. Now, when I caught up with Curtis just a couple of days ago, he said that he'd wished he'd learnt this 22 years ago when he started his business. But I guess, it's better late than never for him, and he's done a great job. Great bloke. Kerry is another awesome dude. When I first met Kerry, he was in business for himself. He had 3 contractors that worked with him. His business is called Electrical and Automation Solutions, and it's an electrical business that works in the industrial and automation sphere. So he works with a lot of dairy companies and other food processing plants. He was literally on his back, like he was working all day in the field and then all night, pricing work, organising projects, and trying to stay on top of things. He had 3 young kids, and he was real close to actually just burning the business down and just going back to work for someone else. Plus, he'd discovered that he had a really serious kidney condition, which was only going to get worse, and subsequently he's actually had a kidney transplant. It's a really inspirational guy. Now, got to give big props to Kerry. He was doing 500K in revenue with just himself and a couple of contractors, which is good going. We did a game plan for him, and we fast forward. Now his revenue is about 5 million. His GP is in the high 30s to 40%. He has 13 employees. He's got an office manager, ops manager, an estimator, and a part-time marketing person. And he's acting in the role of GM. He takes a week's holiday each school vacation. He's bought a beach house. He's got a lovely new boat, which kind of pisses me off because it's bigger and better than mine. That's another whole story. But he's got an extremely well systemized business, particularly around pricing and hiring. And that's made a huge difference. He's been able to hire great people because he's got a great process and systems around hiring. He's got the right ads, a good process that gets people through, and it sells the job to them. He's all over the reference checking process. It's just made a massive difference having those systems in place so he can build a sustainable and consistent business. And he knows that systems save you stress, time, effort, and money. So let's, rather than talk about other people's business, talk about yours. I know when you think about systems, and if you look at the systems roadmap, it is, it's pretty overwhelming, right? Like there's a lot going on. And you might feel like, where the hell do I start? Well, use traffic lights. Think about what's red, amber, and green. And so we don't have to do everything at once because fixing one system will make a big difference. It gives us more time to do more systems. So if you've got a red pen, would be great, or if you don't, just grab a pen. Rather than thinking about every system you need to change, I want you to just jump into the systems roadmap and circle the one area that is giving you the biggest pain in the butt right now. The one area that if you could systemize right now would make a huge difference. Just take 10 seconds, have a look there. Don't think too hard about it, just what jumps out at you. Circle the one. Maybe it's, might be pricing, for example. Just circle it. And when you have, please put it in the chat. I would love to see what areas are really causing you issues right now.
Jacob, straight off, he's into the marketing. It's causing his issues. Zach on the hiring front, for sure. Got 2 so far. Lots to choose from. Yeah, Melissa's hiring as well. Yeah, Brian, quality assurance checklist, huge. We've got leads and inquiry from Andrew, pricing, hiring, marketing leads. Logistics, that's a little bit different. We've got some accounts receivable from Sarah. Closing sale on new customers, so the sales process side of things. We've got a bit more hiring from Paul, and we've got pricing and leads as well. Lots to choose from, but yeah, like Tony said, just start with your red and focus from there.
Yeah, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. Or Rome wasn't built in a day. I mean, they're kind of cliches, but they're very important because overwhelm and burnout is a big thing. So we want to focus on the thing that's the biggest bang for buck, the biggest hinge that we can swing right now. Okay.
It's easy to focus on trying to be perfect.
Oh my God.
Actually just getting started.
Yeah, it's not a mistake I've made, is it, mate?
We all make it.
Guilty as charged.
Should we do a quick stretch, Tony? Just
yeah, man. Yeah. Let's maybe stand up. Yeah, we'll do some bit of an energizer. Big stretch up top. Over to the my right, probably be your left, and the other left. Roll the shoulders around a bit. Give the neck a bit of a roll. Alrighty, shake it out. We've got one thing to do, so this shouldn't take long, but it'll be super juicy. Breathe, yeah, that's right, Brent. Must be exciting for you guys hearing my deep breathing in the microphone. Some things are priceless, Damo.
You paid a lot of money to get that, eh?
I do, yeah, like definitely be some, anyway, let's move on. Okay, we're talking about the roadmap. Let's jump back to the roadmap, which is on page 5 there. We've looked at pricing for gross margin. We've looked at the A to Z of operations. Now we're going to jump into the marketing area, and we're going to look at some quick response marketing tools, and one in particular, which is the email accelerator. So, quick background, everything starts with leads. You've got to have leads coming into your business. Sometimes you need a way to fill up your calendar and your schedule quickly. Sometimes you might look ahead and you're like, oh, we've been busy for months, and like this week and next week and the week after, there's not much happening, and basically you start to poop your pants because you're like, shit, that's not good. I'm going to have people standing around, and if we don't get something happening quickly, this could be bad. Now, we've got a few strategies that can help in this situation. Dialing for dollars is important. Some Facebook and social media advertising and Google ads can work as well. But there's one strategy which is way cheaper than all of those, which I'd love to share with you. It's called the email accelerator, and it's bloody incredible. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is I want to encourage you to know that you can take control of your lead flow if you know how to do it. You don't have to be at the mercy of everyone else. So here's what happens if you don't have a way to get leads quickly with some quick response tools. One is you're going to feel stuck. Your work gets a bit soft. There's not much happening. You've got a gap between projects, so you're stuck. It feels like there's nothing you can do. Nothing happening on the job front. You feel powerless. You're just waiting for the phone to ring. Not a great feeling. Twiddling thumbs. You've got guys, potentially, or guys or girls sitting around twiddling their thumbs. So they may be in the workshop. You've got them cleaning vans or utes or whatever, vehicles, cars. These quiet patches actually do more. They actually mess with your head, because when you think about these times, they often make you reluctant to hire, because you're like, what if the work dries up? I'm going to have more mouths to feed. And that can really hold you back. Next is roller coaster income. Now, who has had, it's really busy going well and then the work dries up and then it gets really busy and then the work dries up and then that cycle just goes around? I mean, I think we've all had that happen. The trouble is you have a few good weeks or good months and then you have a couple of slow ones. A lot of the profit you've made in the good months gets used up in the bad months. And what happens here is you get busy doing the work, you and your team get so focused on getting your projects and clearing the schedule that's in front of you, the calendar. You get so busy doing that you kind of take your eye off the ball of finding the next jobs and pricing the next lot of work and finding the next leads. And then you get quiet and then you go nuts, hustle, shake the tree and more work comes in and then you go repeating that cycle. That happens a lot. We don't want that to happen. Roller coaster income. If you do have some good quick response marketing strategies, it's like having a loaded gun. Maybe this is not a good metaphor, and I apologise if it's not, but it kind of makes the point. You've got ammunition that you can use, that you can call on when you need it. It's like having a tool in your toolbox that you can use when you want to and when you need to, rather than just panic. You're going to keep your team productive, you can keep the work in front of them, you feel in control of your destiny, and it puts you on the front foot when you're thinking about growth and hiring decisions. It puts you in a really positive mind frame rather than being scared about keeping the work coming in. And it's just going to give you consistent cash flow. This is important. Like, you'll keep things cracking along, and if you can make profit every day, every week, every month, that makes a huge difference at the end of the year. A few quiet months can destroy the profitability of what would otherwise be a good year. So there's 3 key principles here to get right. The first one is tap the hidden gold mine. This is killer. It's 4 or 5 times easier to sell to an existing client than get a new one. So your existing clients, or even people who haven't bought from you but they've maybe inquired or whatever, they already have a relationship with your business, it's much easier to get them across the line. Plus, you've paid to get those customers with your marketing efforts or with word of mouth and good work in the past, so you might as well get more out of them. And even the act, and this is amazing, even the act of communicating with your existing clients can have a positive impact on your revenue. And I first saw this way back when I started in this business, back 2010, I think it was, 2009. Early client called Jared. He was concerned about a price rise. We wrote a letter explaining the price rise to his clients. We sent the letter, and his phone went nuts. People ringing and booking jobs. We're like, what the hell? That's just weird. It's just, it communicated. He was top of mind. A bunch of people have been thinking of doing some work. The communication just tipped them over the line. Strange but true. So, we want to tap the hidden gold mine. That's the people you have in your business already, your customer database, the people who know you already. Easier to get them to do work with you than pay for new clients. That's the first thing. Second thing is you want to create a fan base. So business is a numbers game, and the more people you have in your database, the more people you can potentially get when you use this strategy. So I'm going to make this, just grab the workbook. If you go to maybe page 29, just after the email accelerator, let's do some rough numbers. If you have 100 people in your database and you send an email, let's say 2% of them take it up, that's 2 jobs. Well, if we have 1,000 at 2%, that is 20 jobs. If you've got 4,000 at 20%, that is, I think, 80 jobs, sorry. My calculations weren't right. This is jobs. So bigger is better. Think about collecting customer information as a way to build your database, to build your fan base. And you can get customer information, emails and phone numbers through a bunch of ways. You're going to get them anyway. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, you can't spam people, you can't send emails. There are ways you can do this, which is not going to, you're not going to run foul of the regulations in your area. I'm not going to get into all of that today, but I tell you it can be done, and our members do it all the time. One thing for 100% sure, if you're going to send an email, make sure you've got an unsubscribe in your email system. That will take care of most of the issues. But these people who know you already, they've got a relationship with you, so they're not going to be that upset to get an email from you. So create a fan base. Bigger the better. Think about the importance of collecting customer information because that gives you a great fan base to market to in the future. Lastly, copy counts. Now, sending an email is better than doing nothing, but the way you craft the email makes all the difference. I can't emphasize how important that is. If you don't set it out the right way, then your email's it's not going to work the same. Okay, so what do you do? Well, it's actually pretty simple. We've got the email accelerator, and if you go to page 31, I think it is, Damo, in the book.
Up you? Yeah, you're on 31, mate.
Page 31. There we go. This is the bits that you need to have in the email. That's probably a little bit hard to see, but if you've got it in your workbook, you'll be good. There's really 6 or 7 parts that you need to have in place to make this work. Now, I'm going to show you how an actual email works, which is probably more fun. So that's showing the actual email there, isn't it, Damo?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So this is the email. One of the emails that we know works incredibly well, and I'm going to show you examples of when people have sent it. It starts off with a free $100 off any plumbing work, limit of 7, or electrical work, or whatever your business is. Incidentally, $50 works just as well. We've tested this. Amazing but true. Hi Jeremy, Mike from XYZ Plumbing. It's heading towards the weekend. We've had a big house job put on hold, which means we've got a couple of our tradespeople knocking around the workshop in the next few days. We'd rather they were out doing something useful rather than creating mischief around here. So if you've got any leaky taps, blocked drains, gutters, roof leaks, gas appliances that need servicing, or you've been thinking about upgrading your heating or hot water system, this will help. We'll give you $100 off any job you book this week. Limit of first 7 members, that's important. No strings attached. If your job comes to $100, you only pay $50. Plus, and this is important, we'll do a free plumbing inspection valued at $79 while we're at your place or your home to check the safety of all your plumbing and gas fitting fixtures. Call Erin to book and make sure you mention this VIP discount. Cheers, Mike. Okay. So there's some important stuff in that email, and this accelerator explains what they are. The subject line is critically important. So the subject line is effectively the ad for the ad. In fact, let's go into the slides. This is probably a bit easier to explain. The subject line is crucial because you're going to get your ad read. So that's got to arise some curiosity or promise a strong benefit. So for example, save $100 off your next electrical job, banish condensation and dampness in your house this winter, stay cool this summer and save $347 on a new air conditioning unit. Something like that, which gets people to open the email. Next is you want to personalize the email. Write the email as though you're writing it to one person. Make sure you put their name in it. Dear Tony, hi Damo, hi Mike, hi Beth, hi Jess. The cool thing is if you use an email system, something like MailChimp, there's a bunch of others, it will basically take the names from the database and just pop them in the right place. Really simple. This is huge. So there's a company where we live called Briscoe's, and they're a homeware company, and I'm sure you've got someone similar where you're based. Depending on what state or country you're in, you'll know what I'm talking about. Briscoe's have a sale every week, 20 to 50% off every week. Nobody believes them anymore. It's like, that's bollocks. So people are suspicious of deals. So without a good reason why for the offer that you're putting in place, people are much less likely to take action. So the reason why is important. And you'll see in the email, if we go back to the email, the reason why is we've got some tradespeople sitting around the office because there's a big job that's been put on hold. People are, oh, I understand that, that makes sense. So that's important. There's a bunch of reason why copy you could use. The supplier is running a great deal. The supplier had excess stock on and is offering a great deal to move these on. We've made a bulk purchase of. The winter weather is coming. The warmer weather is coming. It's National Tradie Day or National Contractor Day. You could even go, it's Ginger Appreciation Day, whatever. Get some good reason why copy that you're doing this. We've been in business for 10 years and we wanted to thank our customers. We're running a holiday promotion. So give us some good reason why copy is important. Then the offer, this is crucial. So it needs to be irresistible, a compelling offer that people want to take up. So it's got to have some immediate benefit, no strings attached, lots of scarcity and urgency. Now here's something that doesn't work. And what we find with our members, sometimes when they use our email templates, first off, they change them a little bit. They think it's only a little bit, but actually it buggers the whole thing up. So you don't want to mess with the offer. An offer like buy one, get one free does not work that well because you've still got to buy one. So buy one coffee, get one free, not that sexy. Get a free coffee, more sexy. That's really important. Now you can work with your suppliers to get offers, to get ideas for this. A lot of them will come on board to help you with this. You want a call to action, so you need to tell your clients exactly what you want them to do. Call Megan now give the phone number and save $50 off this job. Make sure you mention this email. Incidentally, funnily enough, if you put a woman's name, they're more likely to ring. The research shows that. Lots of little details here. Anyway, that's a small thing. So real clear call to action, and then a nice close, which is typically with a nice casual greeting. Keep it pretty casual from you. You can include a PS at the bottom, reiterate the scarcity and urgency. That's really important. You must have a limit on this because that drives behavior, drives action. Get in quick because we only have 3 gas infinities at this great price, or we only have 7 VIP discounts of $50 we can give away. Now, just want to pause for a minute, and I know some of you will be thinking, oh, well, why would you offer a discount? That seems stupid. I hate discounting. Discounting is the devil. Avoid it at all costs. We're not actually discounting here. It looks like we are. What we're actually doing, giving $50 off. It's going to cost you $50 to advertise on Facebook or Google ads or whatever, so that's an ad What you want to do is get out in the field, get to the job where you can do the upselling process, and that's where the magic happens. Typically you'll find if they have one thing they want done, there's some other stuff you can help them with as well, which they've probably been wanting to do for ages. So that gets you on site, out in the field, and you can actually look for more work, more ways to serve the client there. This is killer. And I just want to show you some examples like this. We've got hundreds of these in our membership site. Rachel and Damien, they're a bit short. They send out we've got the builders put work on hold. They've got 10 responses within the first hour, 19 jobs in total. What would that do to fill your calendar up if you're a bit quiet? Mark, booked 6 jobs so far. Theo, fired the email out this morning at 8:30 a.m. By 9:30 I'd received 5 email replies and 3 phone calls, all converted into jobs. Chris, sometimes this goes mental. Closing out the month, started off slow, did the email accelerator at the start of the month and booked a whopping 50 jobs from it. Oliver put this in our members Facebook group 2 days ago. I forgot how effective the email accelerator was. 20 jobs to quote after 30 minutes of sending. It's amazing how well this works. Some more examples. Annie, Jason and Kirsty sold 9 Renai Gas Infinity conversion systems, like instant hot water systems on gas. Annie, I think, got 10 emails and 5 phone calls as well, so just help them fill a hole. And it just fills you with a lot of confidence when you know you've got a way of getting work when you need it. Okay, team, so if you look back at your business rather than other people's businesses, love to know what proactive marketing strategies do you have in place at the moment, other than word of mouth, that you use to create jobs? Just pop it in the chat. I'd love to know. What other strategies do you have in place? Proactive strategies.
Oh, that's a bit rough. None from Melissa, unfortunately. Oh, actually a few coming in. A few nothings from Brett, Jacob. Lita's got Home Advisor. Anna said nothing, but we'll work on it, so that's cool. B's got social media only. Hans rocking the Instagram. Dinesh, nothing. So a few crickets here, that's for sure. But the email marketing, that's good to add to the toolbar.
Yeah, it's killer. And we've seen it work for all sorts of businesses. Landscaping, we'll do garden cleans or planter boxes. Yeah, it's just about figuring out what works in your niche. Okay. All right, team. So we've been through the roadmap, and I want to just dial back into the roadmap. We looked at 3 areas. We looked at some quick response marketing tools, which was the email. We looked at how to price for margin, which is profitable pricing, and we looked at how to build the A to Z of operations. And to grow a successful business in these funny times as well, a clear path is important to avoid the confusion and overwhelm that often goes with business. So you need a way of methodically going through each level of the roadmap so you can create a well-systemized and profitable business that's consistent. That's the key. Consistently delivers profit and lifestyle for you and your family. And as I said, we touched on those 3 key areas, but you need all of them in the right order to build a solid and stable business. That's absolutely critical. So we've talked about a bunch of success stories today, and I guess the only one we haven't talked about is yours. And there's a couple of things we can do here. There's a couple of choices. As I said at the start, we work with a bunch of business owners, and some of you might want some help with that. And I'll talk to you about how we do that at the end. So you have a decision to make. If you look at the futures model, which looks like this, there's some pretty clear choices to make, because all change comes from taking some different action. Now you can keep doing the same things the same way, and maybe you're on the amber line, which we know is not status quo. We know in 3 years' time that's actually gone down significantly because of opportunity cost. Maybe you're on the red line and you're heading for disaster. But you can get on the green line and actually take a proven roadmap that's developed for plumbers and electricians and painters and glazers and landscapers and tilers and HVAC businesses in the construction area or in the services who are ready to go to the next level and actually shortcut all the trial and error that you'd have to go through otherwise. The choice is clear. You can choose to jump onto the green line, or you can stay on the amber or the red line. Now, if you'd like some help jumping onto the green line, then I can talk to you about how we might be able to help you with that. If you don't want to talk about that, that's fine. We're pretty much near the end. If you don't want to hear about that, that's cool. You can head off. But if you do, then just hang around. We'll talk about how we might be able to help. What we've got is an opportunity to have a free game plan session with one of our strategy coaches. So here's what we'd do. We would spend 90 minutes mapping out a clear roadmap specifically for your business. Obviously, it's difficult to do it specifically for a bunch of people today. And we'd do that. That's the same process we've done for the other businesses that we've helped. There's hundreds of them. And we do 3 things there. One is we figure out where you are right now. So we get really clear on the reality. What are the big issues and challenges for you right now? So that's where you're sitting. And then we figure out where you want to be when things are going great, how the future looks in 36 months. And then using the roadmap, we'll create a step-by-step plan to actually get you from where you are to where you want to go. And focus on just the key things, the 3 things you need to work on in the next 6 to 12 weeks. Because overwhelm is important and order is important as well. Now, why will we do this for free? Really simple. You do that game plan, you're going to leave feeling really clear about where you need to head. Some of you want to crack on and do that yourselves. Some of you want some help from us in our coaching programs to do that. That's fine. Either way is good. Before I talk about how to get that session, I just want to talk about who this is actually for and who it's not for, because it's not for everyone. So really 4, I guess, criteria. number one, are you a business owner? And do you own a business that's in the plumbing, electrical, painting, glazing, tiling, landscaping, HVAC, and similar service-based construction businesses or project-based businesses? You need to also be having monthly revenue of more than 40K. Our system is just perfect for you. From 40K, we work with clients up to about $2 million in revenue a month. You need to be willing to invest 4 hours a week on business improvement. It's going to take a little bit of effort to get the ball rolling for sure. So you need to be able to just lock in 4 hours a week. We'll help you find that time, but it's a commitment from you as well. You need to be 10 out of 10 on the commitment scale. What that means is you're absolutely committed to getting a great result for you and your business. You're going to make this happen. And number 4, just be open-minded, friendly, and coachable. It's important that life's fun, and we want to work with people who have got a great attitude. We have a lot of fun, and that's important. So we've got 3 free game plan sessions. They're valued at $9.97, and we're doing this just to reward you, for being an action taker and being here today, and to see how we can serve. So process for here is the first step is to book a 20-minute phone call with us. And here we'll ask you a few quick questions just to figure out that this is right for you. We want to make sure that those 3 free sessions are the best fit, that people are going to get the best value from that. And the way that works is the 20-minute call is just to ask you a few questions to figure out if or how we can help the best. Make sure it's the best fit for you. It's kind of like a short interview. We just don't want to waste your time or obviously ours. And after that call, we'll tell you if we can help or not. If we can't, we'll point you in the right direction. And if you'd like to do that, then cool, crack on. There is a link in the chat. I think Damien just bung that in the chat, Chief. Would be amazing. And the link's on the page there. It's go.theprofitabletradieprogram.com/attendees. So click on that link. I'll put that in your browser. It'll take you to a page where there's a little short questionnaire, and we'll just ask you some quick info about your business. So we've got some background before you jump on a call with the team. So that's really simple. Once you've filled in the quick questionnaire, you'll be taken to a calendar where you can just grab that 20-minute phone call with Matt, who's one of our strategy coaches. And he'll ask you a bunch of questions and make sure that that game plan session is right for you. And once you've had that call with Matt, he'll book a time to have that free game plan session. And then we can make that plan, map that out for you. Figure out where you are, warts and all, what the challenges are. We'll get really deep. You need to be prepared to be vulnerable there. And we need to, warts and all, what's going on. Then we'll figure out where you want to head, how a business looks when it's working really well in 36 months' time. We use the roadmap to map out the step-by-step process to get you there. And then what are the 3 things you need to work on in the next 6 to 12 weeks to really start the process going. So if you want to grab that time, just click on the link. It's go.theprofitabletradieprogram.com/attendees. And I think Damo's bumped it in there.
Links in the chat.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Easier to follow than typing it out.
Yep. Actually, yeah, Jacob, that's thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Yep. Yeah. Now, team, if you have any questions just while we're here, happy to field a couple of questions as we go. So you're welcome to pop any questions in the chat. It's all good.
Yeah,
Thanks, Natasha.
Coming through.
Yeah, awesome.
Do you want to jam the chat, Tony, or do you want me to read them out?
Oh, you can read them out. That'd be awesome, bro.
Yeah, cool. No, lots of love, man. Thank you very much. Found it very informative. Natasha, yeah, thanks for sharing. Definitely insightful for your first startup. So, very cool.
So good.
Glad we can help.
Awesome, Melissa.
Can't wait to start.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, it's been fun, team. Love serving in any way we can. I hope you found this really useful. And look, business is just an amazing vehicle. When it's done well, it's incredible. It gives you a great lifestyle. Look, as entrepreneurs, we're the whole backbone of the economy. So I reckon we need a bit of support where we can.
Nice.
All right, team. So if you
Yeah.
if you want to grab a time, just book it in. I know a bunch of you have. Jesse has as well. Jimmy and Mike and Tessa. Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys. That's cool.
Hey, Tom. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a shout out. I sent you an email not too long ago, but the cash flow forecaster, when I was going through some pretty rough times, that was hugely valuable. So just appreciate everything you guys do.
Brother, that's amazing. Appreciate that, yeah. That's so useful. It's so good to know where you're at, eh?
Yeah, luckily I'm not there anymore to where I was watching it every day and the money coming in every day and all that. But yeah, it was huge during that rough time. God's blessed us. So
Amen, brother.
stuff. We got
Amen.
a better dashboard now.
So good, so good. Got a bunch of people watching on Facebook as well. Fluid Dishwasher Services. Thanks, Tony. Listen to you and Phil on the podcast frequently. It's a lot of fun. Hans had a great call with Liam today. He's the man. Great questions and also help us uncover some shortcomings, what we might not be paying enough attention to. So good. Yeah.
Just had a question from B, just for the next steps around booking the session. Can revenue be an average of 40K per month across the years? Ours goes up and down.
That's fine, mate. Just grab a call. We can sort that out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just average it out.
It's like, as long as you're not doing like $10,000 in revenue in average, we have some different things we can help with for that.
Cool. Zach's already booked in.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool. All right, team. Well, I will.
Just one more from Josh. Do you guys pick up exterior cleaning businesses?
Exterior cleaning businesses. I think the best thing to do is to book a time, and then Matt can just figure out if what we do is a good fit. If it's not, we will tell you.
Yeah, it probably depends a little bit on your clients that you work with and team size and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right, team. What we'll do is I'll leave the details up there for the booking because I know some of you are still trying to book. That's cool. Otherwise, this has been fun, team. Hope this we've been able to serve you in some way. Love bringing this information. That's it from me and Damo, but we'll leave the session running just so you can get the links. Take good care, team. We'll catch up again real soon.
Good job, everyone.
Okay. It needs to show the last slide.